Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Judge.
Late this morning, we had some nice people from Oklahoma that stopped in to visit our court. And they said they hoped they gotten to meet TJ Reed.
Oh, is that what they said?
Debbie said they would be very disappointed. That is what they said.
Hey, there you go. They'd be very disappointed. Yeah, well, I can't say that she's wrong.
Quite a letdown. No, they seem very nice. Of course, we sent them to Yoder's for lunch and they were.
Oh, there you go.
Have lunch. Too bad the weather wasn't nice for them. Anyway, nice people. She had sent me a card one time, but they happened to be in the area and came in to see things. Now, as you recall, last time this defendant was late.
Well, we believe
Staggering in.
he may be in custody in Allegan County.
Oh,
Well,
let me see if Laura can find out about that.
excellent. Thank you. And so we have another wrinkle on this case, Judge.
Yes.
Unbeknownst to us, as of March 31st, St. Joseph County Treasurer owns the property.
Oh, well, all right, let's wait a minute. I'll turn the record on. We'll memorialize this.
Yeah, so
Well, hey.
so I think
Was it through a title check sale?
yes, so title check is involved, yes. And so obviously we don't pull title searches when we do enforcement action on properties because of the cost and it's not necessarily worth it. And this started a while back, but either way, I think what we're just going to look for today is Mr. Kling, some voluntarily compliance with some of the cleanup on his part, because the county technically owns it, which we have not served them notice or put them in notice of violation. They know about it now, but we would have to essentially cite the county as the property owner, which I don't.
You want me to incarcerate the treasurer?
That's right. Well, she's been pretty helpful, so we'll give her a pass. Well, no, I mean, she's talked to us and cooperative and said to whatever degree that she can cooperate, she would on the cleanup of the property. And when Title Check sells it, they will put notice of violations and the issues that exist based on this case. So the new purchaser or bidders will know what's going on.
Well, if this guy's in the jail, it's even possible we can get them to zoom in, although that might be a stretch, but let's see what we can find out. He made no mention of that.
No. So it's, and according to the records and confirmation from the treasurer's office, it's done. It's a done deal. It's theirs. And I believe the sale is scheduled for August of 2022. So
yeah, that's when it is.
So what about cleaning up his stuff in the backyard? The city does.
303 and 3.5.
and that, yeah, I mean, yes, is that correct, Will?
Yeah, they're the same house.
Okay.
It's 3.5, same parcel.
It's got a wall they put up and put another one bedroom off the side.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I think ultimately, if he shows up today, we just we already have the defaults on him for the citations.
Yes.
We're going to try to work with it. We'd like to work with them on getting the property at least started to get cleaned up.
Well, we've had several of these where they get foreclosed on by the bank and the bank owns them.
Mhm.
And then we get code compliance because the bank can afford to get somebody to come in and clean it up.
Right, and with a bank foreclosure, the property owner still has right of redemption to come back and potentially take the property. So there's some resource, and we have property taxes. We can spread it across the rolls at that point. But with the county owning it, our recourse of putting it on the taxes is gonna be a little bit
Well, let's see what happens.
problematic.
As soon as Laura comes back, we'll turn the record on. Let's see, I don't believe he's in our jail for anything. Let me just make sure.
Allegan?
That's what they were, that's what I was told.
We were told Allegan, is
All
the
right,
jail.
we'll see.
What time is that?
Okay,
But it went through was Michael Scott cleaning.
yes,
I don't know if that's his middle name. He
Yeah.
was released on the 22nd.
all right, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, let's turn the record on. The live feed is on. This is file 212205. It's entitled City of Sturgis versus Michael Kling. Mr. Timothy Reed is here on behalf of the plaintiff, City of Sturgis. Their zoning enforcement officer, Will Pritchard, is also present. We were here previously on March 9th, and the defendant was late, but eventually he was here. The prosecutor, the city showed a number of pictures of the current condition of the property at 303 and a half South Noddle, and it was pretty bad. I did allow a compliance order to enter. The defendant represented he was going to make a number of changes to the property, and it was continued until today. See what he could accomplish in 40 days. Well, a little more than that, 50 days. He is not here. Mr. Reed indicated before we went on the record, he had learned that perhaps the defendant was in the Allegan County Jail. We checked with the Allegan County Jail. Michael Scott Kling was released on April 22nd. I didn't think to ask her to find out what the charge was.
We believe it was a child support warrant.
Hmm. So he isn't here. He was late last time, but he isn't here at all. He's at least not in that jail, and he's not in our jail. Then Mr. Reed also advised before we went on the record that the property has apparently become in the possession of the St. Joseph County Treasurer's Office, St. Joe County. What can you tell us about that, Mr. Reed?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, after the last hearing and then this month, we received a list of city properties within the city that the county treasurer had foreclosed upon and taken title to via back taxes, and 303 South Nottawa was one of them. I did contact the treasurer's office. They were very helpful with the status and indicated that while some of the fetch records, which is the county's online database showing transactions, had not caught up, they in fact, as of March 31st, 2022, have the property. They also indicated that Mr. Kling is still in possession of the property and they have no intention of evicting him. Rather, Title Check, which is the company that the court is familiar with, which will sell the property at auction on behalf of the county, upon the sale, whoever the new owner is will be responsible for evicting or working out the residency details with the occupants of the property. And so at this time, I would still be seeking a compliance order with to remove the garbage, rubbish, and such. The biggest issue that since he is still in possession of the property and has dominion and control over the same, what we're not going to be able to effectively do is defer the costs back to Mr. Kling because he does not own the property. But I do believe since he's in possession, and a lot of the stuff out in the yard would be deemed personal property.
Yes.
And therefore the city, the cars, the other junk, and then the other issues as far as health and safety, electrical and things of that nature, the city would either then have to make a decision whether to fix it, have it fixed, or then tag the house altogether to not allow occupancy based on that. But I do believe.
As I understand it, the ancillary apartment at 303 and a half has been condemned. Is that correct?
That is correct. 303
We
has been
discussed
condemned
the
as well.
electrical issues and other problems with the house. The whole place maybe need to be condemned, but
And it has
This-
been, Your Honor.
right.
Mr. Pritchard did indicated that they did condemn the whole property.
when was that?
We condemned it last week, I think the 21st.
So they went out pursuant to your order to allow for the inspection after the 20th and found the violation still there and a lot of issues. And so they tagged the property at that time.
Well, what would you like your order to say?
Indicate that Mr. Kling shall bring, that at this point in time, it's still in violation. The only remedy, I guess, the only violation that has been remedied, Your Honor, is there were two accessory buildings or sheds. The newer of the two sheds was removed. And I don't have facts to this, but if I were to make the assumption it was repossessed by the shed company for non-payment, but that the city would have the right to enter onto the property and bring the exterior into compliance as far as all the garbage and rubbish and bring the property back into compliance with those violations that still exist.
You may submit that order to that effect.
And I will do that and I'll have it submitted today, Your Honor.
Well, you saw the case recently where those children were burned in that makeshift shed. I had dealt with that property and previously ordered that no one reside in any of those outbuildings. And there was an order in effect that no one was to be in that. And here's what happened. So it just reinforces that we need to take this zoning enforcement seriously. There was no indication there were any children or anybody else in this house, but it has been condemned. And in that case, I'm not sure where it's headed. Sergeant Detective Peterson was on top of it from the state police. I'm sure there's more coming, but I don't want someone to get hurt at this place. So you can submit the order as requested, and I'll sign it by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I will have that submitted by the end of the day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I will complete this record.
And I believe that's all I had for today.
All right, thanks.
I don't want to stick around for your 3 o'clock.
Me neither, but I'll be here. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.